highlight.
I don't even do that in warm-up.
You don't even do that to warm-up. Chris Paul, he was so impressive, Momo, and we're going to jump straight to the fourth. Guy hasn't even missed a shot yet. But what Chris Paul does in these games, he is Mr. Fourth Quarter. He is one of the best clutch performers all season long. And here, working the pick and roll. Whoop, that's another miss. And look at the score. Every one of these shots were needed here, down by one on the road. Chris Paul gets the lane. He's doing what he does, that little high giant killer, that little floater, unguardable, and he did miss. And then here, I think they might have forgot who Devin Booker was, because as hot as Chris Paul is, you can't leave the guy that's probably going to be first-team All-NBA. Devin Booker had himself a solid game. And look, I'm just going to say this right here. Devin Booker is that dude. He had 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, coming back, still nursing back that hamstring, probably on a minute restriction. But here, this is it. Up by 3. Going against, yes, this is not Portland versus Clippers. This is Suns versus the Pelicans.
I've seen that before.
And we've seen it before. But 14 for 14, ladies and gentlemen, that's hard to do if you're in a gym by yourself. It is ridiculous, and there was a lot of love right there. You can see some emotion there. So here we go. Here's the sound.
I had no clue till, I don't know, I think maybe like at halftime I realized, man, I might need to shoot a little bit more. You know what I mean? But throughout the game, for me, I'm literally managing the game. You know what I mean? We was talking about taking heat checks the other day, and I don't do that because I don't shoot enough to take a heat check, and once I miss, I might be cold. You know, but they would sort of let me get to my spots and shoot it.
I believe in the heat check, though. 14 for 15 looks a lot better than 14 to 14 to me.
He gonna heat check even if he ain't hit 5 in a row.
I'll never have one of these games, these perfect ones.
And it's funny because there is a different mindset. But after Thursday, perfect night, CP3 is now averaging 37 points per game on 77% shooting in the last 3 series clinching wins. All of these at the age of 36. Kareem is the only player in NBA history to score 30 in a series clincher at an older age than this old man here. Now, this looked like the Suns team that we had watched all season long, Monica. I'm going to start with you. Like, should they still be the favorites in the West? What do you see? Now Booker's back. They're healthy. What do you think?
RJ, Momo, Zach, I still think that the Suns should be the favorite in the West. Listen, the Warriors are rolling. They look great. However, I don't think that the Suns' regular season is a fluke at all. Yes, Devin Booker is the absolute most important key in terms of what they will or be able to do as this postseason continues. But when you look at the way that they were able to grow in his absence, Mikal Bridges has a huge game. Cam Johnson comes up with big-time baskets. Chris Paul continues to weave his way in and out of defenses and find his spots. He makes it look so easy because of his maturity and his vision on the court, right? So I just think the Suns, it was easy to lose sight of the Suns in Devin Booker's absence, and quite honestly, I don't think any of us thought that this series would be as tightly contested as it was, but I still think that the Suns are that team.
Look, they should be that team. Devin Booker didn't look like Devin Booker last night, and granted, he's coming back off that hamstring injury. If they're healthy, let's just give it that always hedge that Chennai likes to. If they're healthy, okay, they should be the #1 team. But I don't know that they're healthy. I mean, we had questions coming in about Chris Paul's hands. He had it all taped up. Devin Booker's coming off a hamstring injury. He's had a history of hamstrings. So the Warriors, to me, go ahead of them in the pecking order just because that team just got healthy. 4 now. Leave it right there, 4 now. But the Warriors look great in that first round series. I just want to see Dev come back and really beat Devin Booker, because that was like Devin Booker at about 50% yesterday. He went out and played, but he was off. He also needs to be very careful with that hamstring.
That Ferrari was taking its time getting out of the garage. I got you.
Let's get 2 things out of the way first. Number 1, those Chris Paul closing game numbers, you guys are making those up. Those have to be fake numbers. Those can't be real. Number 2, Devin Booker, you can pull off the sunglasses indoors look. I'm very envious. You should do it after every post-game press conference. Keep it going. Number 3, you guys know, I've been super high on the Warriors all year. I think they've earned at least co-favorite status with the Suns in the West, given how they've played, given the pool party lineup emerging. If Devin Booker's 80%, 85%, I think they're equal, maybe slight edge to the Warriors. If Devin Booker is close to 100%, I think that's a toss-up series. I don't think the Warriors fear that matchup at all. And I think this Suns-Mavs series this round is going to be really, really fun. But I think Warriors by a hair if Booker is a little bit compromised.
No, it's tough because you're trying to either figure out, are you going to disrespect one or the other? Monica, what you got?
I'm just saying, Ramona, to your point, health is a fluid situation for both of these squads, right? You've got guys that power each of these engines that have miles. Like, you think about how many games all of those Warriors contingency of guys have played, right? Like, you're right. They look healthy for now, but we all know the gauntlet that is the rest of the way of the postseason. And I agree, Zach, it is going to be a very tight series. Participation trophies in that way for all of us.
Okay, well, hey, it's going to be an amazing series.
If they get there, they got to beat two other teams first.
Look, some of that, we're going to get there. But look, still to come on NBA Today, the Mavericks advance to the semi.
A 14 performance, the most made shots without a miss in any game in NBA postseason history, but also the only player with more makes without a miss in any game, regular season or playoffs. That's Wilt Chamberlain. What a performance by Chris Paul. And because of it, Suns are headed to the next round as we welcome back Monica McNutt. So Chris Paul carries the Suns. Devin Booker scores 13, but he did return, I think a little bit surprisingly to everyone. So, Monica, what did you see from Booker in his first game action in 9 days?
Well, Matt, I thought Booker looked pretty good considering what you just said, his first game action in 9 days. Could he shoot a little bit of a better percentage? Absolutely, but you have to give him a chance to warm up. When he was tasked with hitting baskets that his team needed late in the ballgame, he was able to do so confidently. And to me, you didn't see any gimp. Missed shots are okay. We can live with that. I think if he was out there and you could see his stride struggling because of the injury, then that would be a concern. But I just think this is a warm-up, and he will continue to get better as the playoffs go on. And I also really enjoyed him on the bench. I thought he was great, particularly in the second half as the Pelicans as the Suns were coming up and trying to take back that 10-point deficit at halftime.
So you agreed with the decision to play him limited minutes? Or to play him at all?
I thought that was a smart decision. Yeah. Listen, in the next series, which is going to be probably tougher, you can't just throw him to the Wolves. You got to give him a chance to get ramped up. So I agree with the decision.
All right, so that game was on Thursday night. Today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They play on Monday. He's got 4 days to rest to get ready. Sage, more playoff hoops.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Back to the Eastern Conference Game 6. So much talk about Doc Rivers and his inability, quotes, that's in air quotes, to close out playoff series. Here we go. Oh, hi, Drake. Beautiful kid there. We begin in the third quarter as the Raptors trying to stay alive against the Sixers. This is in transition, with the Sixers up 6. Now they're up 9 because of Tyrese Maxey. And then next time in transition, Maxey and Harden on the give and go, and Maxey pulls up again. He had 25 and 8 assists in this one, the only player in Sixers franchise history to have multiple games with 25 plus and 5 threes in a single series. He was good. You know who else was pretty good? James Harden. And it's about time. Remember, Joel Embiid said we need a more aggressive James Harden. He came out. He was more aggressive. 22 points, 15 assists as the Sixers outscored Toronto by 20 in the third quarter. Maxey to Embiid, cutting, Euro step off glass and in. He had 33 and 10. Third time this series, he had at least 30 and 10. He has been money. Embiid. This is Maxey to Embiid here. Wide open that time. One-handed slam. Sixers roll big time. 132-97. Nick Nurse. No, what a look by Drake.
What are you doing?
Sorry, guys, it's over as the Sixers advance to play the Heat. Here's Doc Rivers.
I really felt confident going into the game. I'll be honest, and I said that to our guys. But then when I was looking at the schedule, I said, this is an important game tonight. This is a must-win for us because, going to play Miami there, we needed the day off. And they, the coaches won't tomorrow. I've already told them, but the players certainly will.
Back to Monica McNutt, and you said on this very show yesterday that Joel Embiid needed to have a 30-point, 10-rebound game for the Sixers to move on. That is exactly what happened. He always listens to you, doesn't he? He should. Onto a Heat team now that had an excellent regular season, but they're not healthy. So as of today, how do you see these two teams matching up?
Well, Sage, when I look at this matchup, I go to big three. And as you mentioned, the Heat's big three, if you consider Kyle Lowry as one of those pieces, is in a little bit of flux as we wait to see what happens with his injury. But then I think about Jimmy Butler, who has been terrific over the series. And then I think about a guy like P.J. Tucker in terms of his defensive prowess. But the third member of that big three would be Bam Adebayo. On the other end, for the Sixers, who you're watching, Maxey, Harden, and Embiid. Yes, Embiid had a 30 and 10 plus game, but Maxey and Embiid also played well. To me, in this matchup, you give the Heat the edge in terms of what they can do to those guys defensively. However, the firepower that we saw last night from Philly, in particular, Joel Embiid, when he plays like that, it is really, really tough to come up with answers in terms of how to slow him down. And so those are the 3-on-3 matchups that I'm really excited about. But overall, it's also going to create an opportunity for some role guys to step up big. Max Strus hit some big-time baskets in the series for the Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. We've seen Tobias Harris get hot at points versus the Toronto Raptors. And so I'm excited to see this X's and O's between two great coaches. It's going to be fun.
You know what else people are excited to see? A healthy Jimmy Butler taking on his former team. It didn't work out so well in Philly with that situation. As Doc said, though, game 1 gets some rest. It's Monday night in Miami. And by the way, they played tough this season, splitting the season series, but always really close games. Look forward to that thing tipping